Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 31 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. Well, we're in front of the icon at the Saints training facility in Metairie. Of course, the NFL draft continuing into the weekend, Friday and Saturday. Of course, the Saints making a first-round selection and not picking in it until a third round, barring any kind of moves. And, of course, Kenny Vaccaro, the pick. And, Lenny, this was a guy that most people felt the Saints were going to pick in the final analysis.
Yeah, it seemed to be a name that came up here towards the end. A lot of focus up until then had been somewhere in the front seven on defense. But at the end, they felt like Vaccaro was the kind of guy who could be a difference maker in the secondary. And clearly, they need to get better in all areas of defense. This was a defense that allowed more yards than any team in the history of the National Football League last year. So any part of the starting 11 can certainly be improved.
And there's no question that they took the approach of taking the best player available on their board. I don't think there's any doubt about that based upon the selection that they made. And it serves notice to not just one but both starting safeties for the New Orleans Saints, because Vaccaro could conceivably play either position in New Orleans. And he's a true safety, which I think is important, which you could possibly say now that Malcolm Jenkins was not.
Right. I mean, he came in as a corner, and they had in mind all along that he could end up being a safety. Roman Harper could be a hybrid outside linebacker in reality, so this may be the most true safety that the Saints would have on the roster in 2013.
Of course, the draft continuing. It's a major sports weekend. The Zurich Classic of New Orleans, 2013 version continuing, and the course playing, well, not easy, but playing pretty well for these players. They're able to score 12 under the lead into Friday afternoon and could hold up the way things are looking. And obviously, from the standpoint of who's there at 12 under, this is a major winner in Lucas Glover, and a guy who's played well on this course previously.
Yeah, he has, and went out today and bounced back every time he had a little bit of a hiccup. Had a good round yesterday, had 3 bogeys on Friday, but every time he responded with a birdie, and that's the sign of someone who could put up some scores. He had 8 birdies on his card today. That's a big number.
Yep, closed with a birdie on 18 to take the lead. Boo Weekley closed with a birdie on 9 to be within 1 shot. Boo Weekley's a good story. He's a gregarious guy, very popular with the media, popular with the players. He's just having fun.
Absolutely. And, I mean, one of the things you hear almost to a man that comes in here is what a great job that the 4Kids Foundation and the staff here does of putting on the Zurich Classic. The extension signed earlier this week that Zurich will be the sponsor of the event through 2019, and that is great news that, this event that has continued to get bigger and bigger. And, you and I were both out there on Friday. Huge crowds. It's really a terrific event for the city.
It certainly is, and it's going to be a great weekend. Let's hope the weather holds up well on Sunday. Looks fine for most of Saturday. So we'll see what happens with this terrific sporting event. Baseball playoffs and prep underway. And, of course, 5A pairings coming out as well. And some winners and some losers in baseball. Softball championships going on in Sulphur. One big result there with Mount Carmel upsetting Hanville, a traditional power.
Yeah, Hanville's been in the finals. I believe it's 4 years in a row now, defending state champions, but they are headed home on Friday, which is not what they expected to be doing. The number 1 seed in 5A, upset by the number 9 seed Mount Carmel, and good luck to them the rest of the weekend.
Seems like we talk about it every weekend, but another big SEC baseball weekend for LSU. They've had a murderer's row schedule, but that is what the SEC is all about in baseball, and no different this weekend. South Carolina, maybe the most dominant program in the country over the last 3 years, taking on the Tigers.
They've been in the finals the last 3 years, won 2 national championships, lost to Arizona a year ago. A lot of guys gone from that team, but they're still a top 15 program this year. LSU, looking to win another series. They've won every series every weekend in the SEC this year, looking to keep that streak going. The good news for the Tigers, 3 of the last 4 weekends are in the friendly confines of Alec Box.
Yeah, and they've played, after South Carolina, they've faced the toughest part of the schedule overall, although there's no soft touches in the SEC. They're all good teams, so it goes without saying that it's going to be a very interesting time. And, of course, big news finally in the NBA playoffs where a certain Mr. Westbrook is done, and that really changes the dynamic.
That does, and, that certainly it may not affect the outcome of the Oklahoma City-Houston series. Oklahoma City probably has enough to get there, but whoever wins that Clippers-Memphis series, Memphis getting it back to 2-1 Thursday night, has to feel pretty good about their chances about a Westbrook-less Oklahoma City team in the second round.
I like the way you put that. Westbrook-less. Yes. It's a new word. Try it on for size. Lenny, is always a pleasure.
Yeah, well, it's a couple other reminders here. Check out Sports NOLA this weekend for a couple of things. One, we'll have news on Saturday of our first-round playoff game in the first NBC Prep Showcase coming up next week. And secondly, live action on Sports NOLA this weekend. Delgado going for a conference title against Meridian, the third-ranked team in the country. We'll have the action right here Saturday, Sunday, 1 o'clock from Kirsch-Rooney.
Well done. That's going to do it for our first NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank. 31 locations all around South Louisiana. For Lenny, I'm Ken Trahan. Have a great weekend, and God bless.